PhotonCityNews.com and Synopsis.co are pleased to present this review of Andy Sedaris' Hard Hunted.
John Airy here with PhotonCityNews.com. I got Ed Travis over here from Synapse.co, a fantastic film site. And today we're going to watch... Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Today we're going to watch a film by a man named Andy Sedaris. Now, Andy Sedaris is a TV guy. He did a lot of work in the 60s and 70s, Wide World of Sports. He directed a lot of TV shows. And then in the early 80s and 90s, he just started making his own movies with his wife. And I guess these movies are synonymous with bare-breasted ladies.
Even James Bond takes time out for sex.
And violence and stuff blowing up.
Survival of the fittest. Hard hunted. Someone will not get out of this alive.
I saw one called Guns with Eric Estrada, where he played a bad guy.
Eric Estrada is the Jack of Diamonds. Smuggling guns is his profession.
This is an instrument of beauty.
It is an instrument of death.
And a very young Danny Trejo. I was blown away by it. Blown away.
Okay, all right.
And so I was like, well, I gotta bring my friend Ed in on this. And Ed, you've never seen one of these, right?
I've never seen an Andy Sedaris film. Anything I know about Andy Sedaris comes from what you have told me.
They're back. The sexiest G-men and G-strings. This time, they're hot on the trail of a stolen nuclear trigger device.
Yeah.
Although everything you've told me is something I like.
Well, and the only reason I know about him is from a Red Letter Media review of Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which apparently is like the best Andy Sedaris film. So I thought we'd start, with one of his kind of mid-range titles.
Right.
Which is what, Ed?
The challengingly titled Hard Hunted, starring neither Eric Estrada nor a young Danny Trejo, but it is described thusly in a very exciting manner. An international criminal mastermind has gotten his hands upon a nuclear trigger which could put the entire world at risk. Hoping to retrieve the Klystron relay in all caps before it can be used, the government sends out a team of female agents to do the job. As the government does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds good to me.
Sounds amazing to me.
So let's take it for a spin, and then we'll do a little talk about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we just got finished watching Hard Hunted. Ed, what were your thoughts?
Delivered some of what it promised. We did get explosions, guns, boobs, Hawaiian locations. We, I think, both were feeling like maybe there was a whole lot of just traveling shots of helicopters flying, taking off, landing, lots of people walking in and out of buildings.
Here you are, Flight 82 to LAX.
You should make your connection to Honolulu with no problem. Thanks. Let's go.
But definitely interjected a breast in every time. It's like, okay, we've been watching a helicopter fly for 10 minutes. He'll just throw a breast in, which, kicks things up a notch.
Yeah. It really felt like that was deliberate. Like they had, we've gone 12 minutes. Time for a boob shot.
Yeah.
Another 12 minutes. Time for a softcore Skinamax 3-minute sex scene.
Right. Maybe a more interesting way to cover this film would have been to set a timer. And just have, you know what I mean? Have the timer, okay, mark down every time a breast appears.
Yeah. Make this into a science experiment.
Yeah. That's you have shot lists when you're creating the film, and you could see maybe the shot list we gotta get the breast shot.
Becky, could I have some coffee, please? This is Ava's Love Line on KSXY Radio.
Now what do you think of the action?
Well, not great.
No.
Not great, but what I will give this movie, and so this is very much like in the heat of that sort of 80s. It's a 92 film, but it's in that era of like kind of low budget explosion of action movies, right? I feel like it had pretty good production value in the scheme of things when you're talking about this explosion of like low budget action stuff. I mean, you had the helicopter, and you had like several planes. There's a car chase with some cool cars, locations. They actually shot on like water. There was like a Monument Valley looking thing going on the one time. I don't know. What were you feeling?
Yeah, no, it was like, to me, it was like a really good, well-produced episode of like Airwolf or Hunter, or like that kind of action show from the early 90s or late 80s. Especially the way like, those helicopter shots were produced. And the helicopter, easily the coolest thing about it, especially the pilot. Al Young was so underused in this, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was underused, I guess, but he made the best of what he had. You know what I mean?
Even with like the racism.
The blatant, yeah,
racism.
Because they made clear in this film that he was reliable because he was Asian, very clearly.
I have a contact in Arizona. He's reliable. He's Asian.
And then they made clear that not only was he just Asian, but he was in fact Japanese because he wore the war headband with the red sun on it. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
What do you think about Andy Sedaris? You've now seen 2 of his films.
Right.
You own all of his films.
You're
the proud owner.
There's 2 that's left off this wonderful.
Oh, okay. Man, bummer.
Mill Creek collection of 12 films.
Weak.
Unfortunately, but Guns I found Guns to be a much more enjoyable film, only because it had more action and it had more just kind of weird, crazy, strange characters. This one tried that in a few places. Like, for instance, we had these 2 hitmen show up on a hovercraft that made no sense.
The comic relief.
Yeah, the comic relief, which wasn't funny and didn't really do anything for the plot. They were just kind of thrown in. It was like that little time filler.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be kind of nutty and crazy, but they just ended up being weird and dumb.
Let's point out that they were named Wiley and Coyote, and that they piloted a hover boat that was Acme brand.
Oh, and their gun was Acme too.
Acme brand gun. That is something that happened in this movie. Like, that actually happened in this movie.
Yeah, just
neither of us can deny that happened.
No,
in this movie, it was
that
there.
happened.
It was really in there.
So there's like a layer of weirdness on this film. It feels, I don't know, almost like someone's pet project where they go out, they get all their friends together, they make some stuff explode, and then they get a movie out of it.
Yeah,
and then they can show the movie to all their friends.
I mean, this Andy Sedaris guy seems to have a formula, and it seems to work. And if he was able to make 12 plus feature films that are pretty much exactly like this, and mind you, exactly like you were noting that Guns also has like a Hawaiian restaurant where a girl sings in it, and like, so there's things that are just like they're in every single one of his movies. And interesting discussion we learned by doing a little bit of IMDb research together, that there is in fact like a Sedaris verse. Yeah. And that this is actually one of a series of films. So we think that the next movie after this is Fit to Kill, I think, is gonna have some of the same characters, and they're gonna, so this is like a really big epic. This is an epic story. This is like a Marvel build up, A
Marvel universe of boobs and bullets.
Yes.
So exciting.
That's pretty spectacular.
Now, in your opinion, is this worth watching more films, more Andy Sedaris films?
Oh, so, okay. That's a very specific question.
Yeah.
Because yes, I would like to see further Andy Sedaris films. If I were to see like 2 more and they were both as poor as this one.
Look, I might not be a full-fledged agent, but Mika brought me into this to help you guys, so here I am.
I'd probably be done. But like you seem to feel like Guns was like a big step up from this one. So it's like I already know just from talking to you that there's varying levels of quality even within this like singular formula. So yeah, I would absolutely watch. Especially, I'm gonna be honest, it kind of excites me that he has the same characters like going through, even though they were terrible characters.
Yeah, they're awful.
Paper, wafer thin.
I always feel more like talking after a good cup of coffee.
Like the lead actress, the apparent lead of this film, Donna Spear. She was easily the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There was a double agent guy.
He was easily the worst.
Yeah, the double agent guy, he had Donna Spear whipped as far as terribleness.
I'm your friend. You can trust me. You were kidnapped by those men.
But like, she was not interested. Like, let's say of all the female leads that were running around doing like actiony stuff and being naked, she was like the least interesting. I would have much rather followed any of the K-sexy radio DJs around, or any of the other agents were like more charismatic, more interesting.
Well, we should mention also that the secret base for the secret espionage agents is a radio station called K-sexy that has its very own hot tub where the agents like to hang out while they're on the radio, giving secret clues to their fellow agents.
Here's a message for our 2 Gemini hunks. Your soul sisters are coming home, and you should be there to meet them.
Right. I mean, that was a pretty awesome thing, like to think about that they were coding their secret agent messages over the air, like over the airwaves, and both of us kind of thought, man, you know, any number of technologies would have been more secret than actually speaking on live radio to each other in code.
Try to meditate in a special area, such as just north of Sedona, Arizona, where the magnetic vortex at Cathedral Rock is a site of great regeneration.
I would listen to K-sexy.
Sure, why not? Especially when you have all that interesting intel coming in.
Yeah, there's intel. I mean, it's more interesting than like drink your Ovaltine from like Christmas Story or whatever, you know?
Some girls have all the luck.
Who knows what you could decode?
Well, cool. Well, I tell you, let's do this again sometime. Let's watch another Andy Sedaris film. Maybe not Hard Ticket to Hawaii. That apparently is the crown jewel. Maybe we'll try out another one, and if it sucks, we'll just skip straight to Hard Ticket. If it doesn't suck, we'll keep going until we end up with Hard Ticket.
Now the question is, do we follow up Hard Hunted with the sequel Fit to Kill? Like, are we invested enough in the characters who lived through this movie to follow them?
Let's say yes.
All right.
We'll do this again. Next film we do will be Fit to Kill. We're pretty excited about it.
Mix one fabulous diamond with one international jewel thief, and you're fit to kill.
So for PhotonCityNews.com, I'm John Airy.
And I'm Ed Travis with Synapse.co.